CBS News Chief White House correspondent Major Garrett is in Janesville, Wisconsin, a site of a Donald Trump event today. Major, we appreciate the time this morning. Trump has lost a good amount of ground to Ted Cruz in that state of recent. What does he need to do then to rally support between today and next Tuesday?
Well, showing up will help. Trump has not had a public event in more than a week, hasn't spent any time here in Wisconsin, done a lot of things on social media and phoning into television shows, but he hasn't campaigned in the state. Janesville will be his first public appearance. He's got several more planned Wednesday and Thursday, so that will help the Trump cause here. But the larger problem for Donald Trump is, as Ted Cruz predicted, when the race finally got down to two or three candidates and two or three candidates alone, the consolidation of the anti-Trump vote would begin, and you're beginning to see that here in Wisconsin, not just in the polls that you just referred to, Josh, but also in the conservative talk media here in the state of Wisconsin, which I can tell you, based on experience, is very well developed, well educated, spends a lot of time talking about politics in this state, and is very close to the Republican primary electorate. And for those reasons, Trump has lost ground here, and he's going to need to scramble to get back into the lead he once held, if he can do that at all.
Major, is it the campaign's idea that this is simply a fait accompli consolidation behind Cruz, or is it more the idea that Trump's message is simply not resonating there?
Well, Wisconsin is an interesting place. I'll give you a bit of a history lesson. Ripon, Wisconsin is the ancestral home, if you will, of the modern Republican Party. In 1854, a bunch of people gathered there to talk about slavery, abolition, the Kansas-Nebraska Act, the Missouri Compromise, and from that meeting, what we now know is the Republican Party was formed. And so Republicans in Wisconsin take their republicanism very seriously. They take their conservatism very seriously. And if this is one place where Donald Trump and his rather glossy approach to the substance of issues might encounter some difficulty, well, Wisconsin is certainly a place where that would be true. And you're beginning to see that in the conversation about what Trump is or isn't for. Some of the opposition campaign ads here talk about his previous support of Democrats or liberal positions. That does not sit well with the base here. So Trump has a lot of work to do. And if he can do it, he will succeed in this state. But one thing has been pretty clear in this campaign, Josh. Once Donald Trump loses a lead, he almost never rebounds back into the lead. And the Cruz campaign feels very confident that it's not only come tied with Trump, but will soon be in the lead. And they don't expect that will be a lead they'll give back.
We've all wondered about just what the impact of endorsements would be in this race. Again, we expect to hear Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker endorse Ted Cruz later today. Also, you're in Janesville. It is also the ancestral home of House Speaker Paul Ryan. And so the Republican establishment up against the Trump movement, if you will, it is distilled where you are today. How much then to expect the endorsement of Walker, of Cruz today to impact the race, not just there in Wisconsin, but looking forward to the national look?
I don't think Scott Walker means anything outside of Wisconsin, and there's certainly no one in the Cruz campaign who believes he's going to be a vital surrogate outside of this state. And even within this state, he has a relatively low, comparatively low approval rating, about 39%, much higher amongst Republicans. But the one thing that Scott Walker does do is he sort of galvanizes that sense that conservatives and reform-minded Republicans in the state are simply not going to go for Donald Trump, and they're going to sidle up with Ted Cruz. Cruz still has quite a few people in Congress and elsewhere on the sidelines. They're waiting to see if, in fact, he wins the state of Wisconsin. If he wins, and not only wins outright but carries a majority or nearly all of the 42 delegates up for grabs, that could bring more endorsements to Cruz's campaign. So Wisconsin is an important test case for the Cruz campaign. And for Trump, his campaign is already beginning to diminish expectation, or certainly lower them, in the sense that this state is not necessarily one he can win, and that Cruz has to sort of run the table here, get almost all the delegates to remain competitive. That's not mathematically true, but you can hear that in the Trump rationales already, that they may not win this state, and they will prefer to fight Cruz on ground much more favorable to the Trump campaign: New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and possibly California.
As you mentioned, he is making his first public event appearance in over a week. Meanwhile, yesterday, President Obama slammed the media in total for its coverage of the 2016 campaign. I want to play a little bit of that criticism for you now.